Now, this is the second part of the project where we are building the web application that is using Django framework. But before we actually move on to the code, there are some steps to be followed so that you can set up the Django application itself. So first, just set up a directory where you will be keeping the code. Okay. So for that, I've just built myself a voice gender prediction directory where I'm just keeping the code. Second, in your terminal, or maybe if you have a IDE like I have, open that up, set up the project and build an environment. So you have to build a new environment for this project such that in that environment all the packages and dependencies are stored and used by the Django web application. So what I did was, if you're using PyCharm, just go to the settings, and in your settings just go to the project interpreter, and you can see that a already instantiated environment is voice gender prediction. Okay, and in that environment all the dependencies are present that you can see here. So next thing, it is not like you have to install each and every dependency or package one by one. What you can do is just go inside your voice gender prediction. Okay, then go inside my site if you have already built a Django project, and then run the command pip install requirements.txt. If you run this command, then all the dependencies that are stored in my requirements.txt will be downloaded and then installed inside your environment itself. So if you have already just specified a directory, not a Django project, then first you have to build a Django project. For that, what you can do is just run the command Django admin start project and then name of the project. Since for my project I have named my site, so you can see my site project was instantiated. Now you can see that once you run this code, okay, you will see a my site being present, and inside that you would see another my site where settings and VSGI files are present. Then what you do is go inside your my site directory. So you would be first in your first directory, project directory only. Then you go inside your Django project directory. Okay, once you do that, what you have to do is run the command python manage.py start app and then the name of the app. Since I named the app polls, so you can see that a polls app will be generated and some of the files would be present here. So the good thing about Django is that it already builds you a base app on which you can modify, extend, update, create something new, and store it on the base app itself. So with that, what we have to do is just make changes in some of the files, and the app would be running with your web application developed but locally. So you can see that all of these files are already present, and what you have to do is go into the views. So for views, only one views.py is present for one app. So you can see that in polls app only one view is present, and this is where all the backend work, or I would say the backend implementation occurs. Meaning, if you're handling the data, if you're modifying the data in the backend, storing the data through the backend, sending the data from the backend to the front end, all of that happens in views.py. You can see I have already imported some of the functions from Django that are render and redirect. So render function basically renders files or templates, I would say, where templates are HTML files. Okay, you can see that there's a template folder also which has main page.html, and if you would see the first function that is named voice, in the last you can see there's a render function that I'm returning, with main page.html telling that for this function, if this function runs, you have to render the main page.html. And if you're sending some information from backend to frontend, you can do that through context. And by context, I mean this. This thing is called context, where you're defining your information in the form of dictionary. So let me start from above. Okay. And see, the first thing that we are doing is taking the data from my front end and storing them in variables that I've defined here. Okay. So you can see there's a lot of variables that I've defined. Then I'm sending all of these variables into a function named finder. So if we go to the finder function, you can see that the finder function is taking all of these variables or all of these parameters and then creating a data frame out of it. So you can see that empty data frame was created, then it was filled with the values. Now I'm using this data frame as my data to be input into the predict function of my model so that I'm able to predict the label class if it is male or female. So you can see that I'm storing that in res and then returning the res variable. So the data was sent to the finder function where prediction occurred and the data, or I would say the result, was stored in res variable, sent back to the first function named voice, and you can see that I stored that in results, and that result is what I'm sending to my main page.html as context. So this might be a little confusing to understand. So I would run the program first and you would be able to see how it is happening. But that would be in the third part where I'm actually already have deployed the code or the web application to Heroku. So this is where all of the data is being handled, sent back, sent in from the web application to the backend. I would say from the front end to the backend and from the backend to the front end again. So this is what Django is capable of. And before we move forward again to some, I would say to the next topic, I would like to showcase the settings.py file. Now, if you have just built a Django project, meaning just the base has been built or instantiated, you haven't changed anything, you would see that the debug is equal to true and there's nothing written in allowed host. Now, since I've already changed the code so that it can be run on production, I have made changes that is from true to false, and then in allowed host, I've set up some URL. So you can even see that the security warning is already telling you that don't run with debug turned on in production. Another thing is that Django is itself capable of handling security risks. All of these middlewares that you see here are middlewares that are capable of handling vulnerabilities that you might maybe have to set up on your own if you were on some other programming language like PHP or such. So that is one plus point also. You can see that clickjacking, that is X framework option middleware is present, security middleware is present, sessions is present. So you don't have to manually set up things in Django. It has already been set up for you and you just have to write basic functions that would help in rendering of pages. Again, you can just go, okay, this is where you are setting up your database that is going to be attached with your web application, and it already gives you an option of SQLite 3, so that Django is already capable of using SQLite 3 within itself. You don't have to download anything else for this. But if you're using a database like Postgres or such, then you have to specify it inside here. Next, you would see about, yeah. So again, this line again won't be present if you have just instantiated your Django project. So this line is basically telling you about that all of the static files that you can see, the CSS files, JavaScript file, images, all of them are actually have to be amalgamated, I would say, to one folder, that is static files, when you have shifted your code to production, so that the server is able to understand that each and every file is not diversified into different places inside the code, but have been present in just one place, and it would search at that one place only. So with this, I would like to conclude the second part, that is about the Django framework and web application that we have built. And last thing that I would like to tell you about is, if I run the command python manage.py run server, if I run this command, so your code would start, but would be uploaded, I would say, locally, or so would start running locally. And if you click on this, the link that is provided to you here, you can see, so you can see that if I type voice here, so see, the page has been rendered. That is a form, and you just have to give in the values here. Okay, and then click on submission. After that, the value or the, yeah, let me just directly put in, yeah, I just would put in anything, so don't mind the name and any of the values that I have set up beforehand. Yeah, so, and there are a lot of values. Yeah, finally the form has been filled. If I just click on confirm submission, so you would see that, yeah, so you would see that the voice is of a female. So it has predicted. So with this, I would just complete the second part.